comes alongside us. But then I heard someone the other day, another educator, say, "Well, I don't know, because they're not. It's not really create. It's creating stuff, but we still have to check it. We still have to have that human part of that human loop type of
Yeah.
thing." But I still think of it as like my digital assistant, maybe even creative partner. But what are your thoughts on that? Do you see it like a creative partner, more like maybe an assistant, digital assistant? What are your
I
thoughts
think
on that?
it can be like, there are times where I might use AI as a digital assistant, and
Hmm.
it kind of takes care of all these mundane tasks. But also, if you say a sometimes I might use it as a muse. Like if
Hmm.
I'm writing something and I'll say, hey, what are some things that I could, some topics I can write about? And then it'll generate those things. And then I'll ask it questions when I'm trying to generate ideas. And so, yeah, I think that, it's a little bit of both.
I like that. Yeah, that's good. Depending upon what you're using it for,
Yeah.
it can be different things for different people. So it's not, not one of the things that this educator said to me too is that, some of these answers we don't, or some of these questions we don't know the answers to because there's still so much gray area. We're still trying to figure it out because it's still so new. Just like when the internet came along, we were
Yep.
all like, "What do we do with this?" Right? I remember when computers, were coming to the scene, and we
Yep.
were just like, "Wow, what do we do with Windows?" You know, we were so used to DOS systems, and then all of a
Yeah.
sudden, Windows comes along, and it's like, "Wow, okay, what do we do with that?" So, I think sometimes with technology, we tend to, either like you said, and we said this offline, people go one of two ways, right? They
Yep.
either freak out about it and they go, "Nope, hands off, none at all," or they go towards it and they embrace it.
Yeah.
So you don't find too many people in the middle of that road too much. But I think you and I are we're in that middle. We
Yeah.
have that cautious optimism. That's how I was in the beginning, and I tend to be that way when it comes to integrating technology into curriculum and courses, because I want to make sure that the technology doesn't drive the learning, that it's the learning outcomes. And
Yeah.
yeah, I think that's so important. That's one of the myths I talked about in one of my episodes that's coming up on the new series about
Mhm.
myths in instructional design and education. So it talks about how technology should not drive education. It should be the other way around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And, there's also, I was thinking when you were explaining that, I was thinking, I've been teaching a long time, and a lot of my assignments, I created them before AI existed. And so it could be a matter of just redesigning some of my lesson plans, my course materials to
Right.
meet this moment where AI is something that's in our lives, and we can use it for good or or use it for evil. I want to focus on using it for good.
I like that. Yeah, and I'm glad, Michael, that you're talking about, looking at some of your assessments and redesigning them if needed. And the ones that work well, you can keep that, and then be able to maybe update it a little bit without redesigning it. So I think it's good. I think it's good for us as educators to look at those and see where we can make those updates and those changes that will benefit the learners more than anything, and make it student centered. Because so many times I hear instructors that do something because they think it's gonna be easy to grade, and I'm like,
Yeah.
"Mm, we should," like I had one, faculty I was working with, you'll think you'll crack up on this one,
Okay.
but it was a couple years ago, well, maybe it was about 3 or 4 years ago, and we were working on a counseling course together, a graduate one, and he wanted to put a quiz in every topic in an 8-week course, and I said, "Well," I asked him, I said, "What's the reason for that?" Because tests can be good, and they can also, it depends on how they're written and how they're
Yeah.
administered. They can work well, but then also if you're just using it for grading or something like that, it doesn't work well. And his
Yep.
answer to me was, because they're automatic grading and they're so easy, I don't have to grade. And I'm like, if that's the only reason he wants tests, that's not a good reason, Oh, my
Yeah.
goodness. Yeah. So I was trying not to, like, sound surprised or look surprised, but I was just like, "Wow, okay."
Yeah,
That's the
the
first time I'd heard
automatic
that.
grading,
Mhm.
and
Yep,
or,
exactly.
the old Scantron tests, those are good.
Right, exactly, I remember those. Oh, wow. Yeah, the little bubbles, "Don't go outside the bubble."
Yeah.
Yep, I remember those. Yeah, exactly. I love that.